Fasten your seatbelts because I'm taking you on a road trip through the USA.
Welcome to Wout of the World, and in the last 3 months you already saw some episodes in Asia, Africa and in the Caribbean. But now we ended up in USA. This is Florida and we drive around in this colorful camper van. Let's go!
It's National Parks Week in the US and we're hitting the road with this escape camper van.
For our first stop we drove to the west coast to find the city of Tampa, and over there is one of the most beautiful beaches, which is called Clearwater Beach, the start of our trip around Florida.
Situated between the big city of Tampa and hip St. Petersburg is this beach hotspot. And today there just happens to be a free festival on the beach.
We had our lovely first night, guys, in the camper van, and we drove up north for 1 hour from Tampa to get to Weeki Wachee State Park, which is like a natural water park with crystal clear blue water and some slides. You can go kayaking, super fun.
It turns out that Jens is not the most experienced kayaker, but luckily there is an alternative. This boat trip on the river is insanely beautiful. We see this American bald eagle and many aquatic animals. After the boat trip, we enjoyed the natural water park. And did you know that Weeki Wachee has had a world famous mermaid show since 1947? We cruise on south on the most spectacular roads on the water.
I slept like a princess up there in the rooftop tent, and Suze and Jens slept in the cabin, and she's making breakfast over there in the back and Jens is waiting for it. It's a lovely day. We're gonna drive towards Naples, but this way of traveling, guys, love it. A true highlight on our route to the south of Florida is the city of Naples. And I'm not referring to the beautiful city in Italy, although a lot of places here are named after Italy in this area. No, we're talking about the Naples Pier from 1888 and some beautiful beaches. We're gonna see some local life, a little bit of history and some good vibes.
Here we go again. Trying hard but you wanna be my friend.
Along the way we see that the people here live quite comfortably. Just look at the size of these houses.
Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help.
A walk on the old pier is a great experience as well. This place is so wonderfully relaxed.
Time for a little beer tasting. This is turtle season. Ah, passion fruit. And this is Isla Morada. Two Florida IPAs.
I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run.
From Naples we drove a little bit more to the south and we slept like a baby in Biscayne State Forest. Now we're gonna have some breakfast before we go into the great swampland called Everglades, where you can make some walks, you can drive around in your car, but the best thing is to make an airboat tour, and that's what we're gonna do first.
I can help you out, I can help you out, I can help you out.
The airboat was invented in 1905 by Alexander Graham Bell, that guy who also invented the telephone. A ride on this thing is an experience on its own, but of course the actual reason to come here is this.
Alligator!
I can help you out, I can help you out.
And after the boat we take the car for a little game drive.
I can help you out, I can help you out.
Oh my god guys, I was just walking outside and I almost stepped on an alligator. This scenic route is so incredible. Jens is taking a nap in the back, but we already saw baby crocodile, alligators, some dragonflies, a lot of birds. A real wildlife paradise, this, the Everglades. Wow guys, what a day did we have at the Everglades. We drove all the way to the other side near Miami and we're gonna set camp here at Gator Park. We're gonna have some dinner, sleep well and dream about all the animals that we saw, and let's hope they're not coming out of the bushes at night. Crocodile in my bed.
driving into a whole new world because this is something else.
We left the endless swamplands of the Everglades and traded them in for the Florida Keys, some tropical islands in the way south of Florida. And I'm gonna see this from above with the drone. Check it out.
Driving the Keys is something unique that we can't compare with anything else. It's like an infinite water world.
The trip from the mainland of Florida all the way to Key West takes us about 2 to 3 hours. And today we stop in the middle in the key called Marathon, which is famous for its beautiful beaches. And we started this one. It's called Sombrero Beach and it's one of the most beautiful beaches in the Keys. I think we're gonna stay here for an overnight stop. We left the camper right next to the beach and we slept next to the playground, so Jens was up early, already going off the slides and making 1,000 new friends. A busy playground. And now we head on to Key West. It's an hour drive from here and we stop on the way in Calusa Beach, which already sounds amazing. The most beautiful beach I talked about, Calusa Beach, is in a protected area called Bahia Honda State Park, which is right in the middle of Marathon and Key West on the way. And it's the most beautiful key because it has only nature, no buildings, just birds, the sea, some other animals. We'll find out.
And meanwhile, we're so getting used to swimming along that all-connecting highway, which is actually pretty crazy.
At the southernmost point of America, in Key West, there's a sign that says the southernmost point of the USA. And we wanted to take a picture there, but I think you guys have to settle for some other people because it was so crowded. And there was a line 3 blocks down, so we're going.
You see, these people had a lot of time. I have 60 more countries to cover. Our favorite spot on Key West is Hicks Beach, and this is where we linger for some dinner.
Wow, guys, it's another beautiful day in paradise. Yesterday we left the Keys, stopped in Key Largo to see my home team winning in the quarterfinals in Europe. It's Feyenoord, soccer. And now we move on. Just south of Miami is Biscayne National Park. A big natural site near the city, and we're gonna see some lovely things again, guys.
Biscayne National Park is basically a mangrove forest. But what I found to be amazing are the countless species of lizards.
You couldn't possibly find a bigger contrast between the beautiful nature in which we camped outside in the wild between the crocodiles, and now we are in Miami, the big city with an urban vibe, street art, live music, bars, everything you can imagine, entertainment. So let's explore.
Pack your bags. I got a one-way ticket to explore the world tonight. I want you back, so come with me. Don't look back. I wanna show you the wonders of the universe, girl. Take my hand and you will see. We've got just one life, baby. So live it up, take it one day at a time.
About 15 minutes on a bus takes us to Miami Beach, the world famous beach that goes on for miles on this pretty little street. And we're gonna see the beach and do a little sightseeing.
What a place for people watching. The Americans do love entertainment, but rarely I see them going wild like this.
I wanna leave it all behind. Sailing seas, just you and I. Exploring hidden caves or surfing waves into the night. On the beaches of Hawaii.
From Miami we drove up north for a couple of hours to find ourselves in Cocoa Beach. It's a laid-back little surfers town with a really chill vibe. So let's go explore some restaurants, bars and the beach.
Florida's east coast is all beaches, but Cocoa Beach stands out for me as authentic and very relaxed. We're back in Orlando, where our big trip started in the first place. In the middle of all the amusement parks, we spent a day having fun on International Drive.
We are almost at the end of this episode and our trip in Florida, but we move on to the west and the north side of the USA. We're going to Yellowstone. What an adventure. But this will be the last day in the Central Florida Zoo in Sanford, which has a water park, so let's have some fun. We're back at Escape Camper Vans to drop off Rose, our camper van that gave us an incredible trip around Florida. But then we move on to somewhere else in the USA, in the Wild Wild West. These are the states Nevada, Arizona and Utah, and we're driving around in this camper van. So I say, let's go! Weehaw!
An amazing adventure, but we already had a little appetizer.
Before we are going to pick up our camper van, we start here in Sin City, Las Vegas. And 6 years ago we were at the same exact hotel in Ellis Island Hotel. It's close to the strip, like a 10-minute walk, but it also has a karaoke bar, this pool and even a brewery, so we can get some nice beers. And I'm gonna enjoy myself, guys.
During a walk on the strip, we cannot believe our eyes. Of course, we visit the Eiffel Tower, the famous fountains and the chic Bellagio Hotel. We also take a look in Venice. And have a little party at the karaoke bar.
Oh, and one other plus side, the 7-Eleven next door for the hot dogs.
We enjoyed this ultimate American experience. And then it's time to pick up our Moterra camper van for an epic road trip.
Our first stop is about a 1-hour drive from Las Vegas, and we get into the Red Canyonlands east in Nevada. And it's called the Valley of Fire in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And it's named after the rock colors and the beautiful landscape. Let's check it out.
You will never forget a ride through the Valley of Fire. This road is one of the most spectacular ones in all of America.
The Valley of Fire was superb, and now we drove another 15 minutes towards the border with Arizona. And on the way you see all the camper vans picking the best spots with the most amazing views over the valley. And so did we, so we're gonna camp here overnight, make some dinner and head on to another beautiful day tomorrow.
This is also the perfect place to get to know our practical motorhome, with a kitchen and an extra floor.
Oh guys, I slept like a baby. And so did Jens in his upstairs sleeper. And Susie is making breakfast. And then we're gonna head on to the next national park. We're gonna be driving towards Zion.
Through Arizona, we arrive in Utah, the state with the most national parks per square meter. This small state actually has 5.
My personal favorite national park is Zion because you can make such beautiful hikes. We were here in 2016 to make a beautiful hike as well, and this time we're doing the Emerald Pools because it's an easy hike for the little one. Huh? Zion!
Ja, maar kijk, het is ons.
Ja.
All the walks are scattered around this gigantic green valley. And this valley is truly a wonder of nature.
Wow guys, Zion was so amazing. But we get a little dessert, the cherry on top of the pie, because we're going to drive the scenic route to Bryce Canyon. And on the way you get to see a lot more of Zion Canyon.
And on the way out we see these characteristic animals, the bisons.
Tonight we're camping in Bryce Canyon. We stay the night here and we're having dinner called pasta di Wout. The best pasta there is. We just woke up in the camper van and this morning it was a little bit colder than usual. It was almost freezing, so we had to cuddle up together. But we woke up in Bryce Canyon, guys. A beautiful canyon with so many viewpoints. And this is just one of them. It's called Swamp Canyon Overlook. And today we're gonna see the rest of them.
At an altitude of about 8,000 feet we drive to Farview Point. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a tour along the lookout points. Let's go! Oh, and we see these prairie dogs.
From the state Utah, we go back south a little to Arizona on our way to the beautiful Monument Valley. And on the way we stop in a town called Page with a beautiful landmark and one of the most iconic places in Arizona. It's called Horseshoe Bend.
Close to 1,000 feet below these steep cliffs, the Colorado River flows to the shape of a horseshoe.
We have entered deep down in the Native American territory. This is the biggest outdoor museum of the Navajo tribe, Monument Valley. We're gonna make a drive-through, but I can already say I've been here once before. This is for me the best picture-perfect Wild West setting. Just look at it. Wow.
In an hour or two, we take our time to drive the 20-mile-long scenic drive through this bizarre landscape.
Monument Valley is a part of the Colorado Plateau. It came out of the Gulf of Mexico to be dry land. And dinosaurs walked the earth here and nothing ever happened because it's still the same valley now. It's incredible.
And if you look very closely, you can still see the dinosaurs. Tum tum tum.
All around the park we saw some amazing viewpoints, but if you have to choose one, my guess would be Artist Point, because this here is the most picture-perfect postcard image of the West Coast in America. Look at it.
Oh guys, it's a fantastic new day. But where are we now? We've traveled a lot yesterday. We drove all the way from Monument Valley to Moab. Over there we had some good pizza, some craft beers. It's a really nice town between the national parks in Utah. And from there we drove into Canyonlands in the middle of the night. And if you sleep in your camper in the national parks, you wake up to a beautiful view. So that's what I'm going to show you.
Spoiler alert! As always, driving this park is again spectacular.
So today we visited a national park called Canyonlands. It's a gigantic park that will take you a couple of days to see everything, but we visited the part called Island in the Sky. It's a short drive, you can see some nice views, make some hikes, just for the day.
All around the park you can make these small hikes, and especially the one to Mesa Arch is impressive.
You already saw us in a lot of national parks, especially here in Utah. We saw some nice rock formations and beautiful canyons, and everywhere the nature is just a little bit different because of the different types of rocks. And today we're in Arches, which is especially beautiful because the nature has created a lot of beautiful arches over here. It's one of the most popular parks you can find in America, and they have a reservation system that's booked for months. So you have to go on a really unhuman hour to get into the park. But we did, so we drove in at night. Coffee!
Driving around we see the most beautiful arches in all shapes and sizes.
One of the best parts in Arches is called the Devil's Garden because of all the rock formations that make it look like a landscape from hell. And one of the arches is called the Landscape Arch. It will take you an hour to go there and back, and I'm gonna go a bit further than Susan Jens here.
After visiting all these national parks, I can honestly say that this particular hike might be the best one. This is definitely a must-do in Utah.
Oh, I've had about 10 miles, guys. So I think I've earned this one. Ice cold beer. And it's just 11 in the morning. But I don't care. It's always so fascinating about America that in 1 hour driving you can get from the desert to the snowy mountain tops. We even had some snowflakes on the windscreen already. We arrived in Salt Lake City and this marks the end of the road trip. And we have to say goodbye to our sweet camper van. But in the next episode we're gonna pick up a new camper van. So let's make another road trip. And this time we're going to Wyoming, Idaho and Montana.
Especially Yellowstone has been on the top of our bucket list for years.
Well, good morning guys. We drove about 2 hours from Salt Lake City and then there was so much snow and rain and cold that we decided to stop at a McDonald's. Our best friends when we're traveling. And there was a play place, so Jens was playing, it was warm, we had some internet, I could do some work. So we ended up staying the night there, not inside, but of course here. Got some coffee and let's go back on the road to find some nature.
And who would have thought we would travel through Paris?
The first stop that we make is on the border of Utah and Idaho. We just drove into the other state. It's Bear Lake. And if you see this lake, it's so blue that you almost think that you're in the Caribbean. But we're actually in the cold.
Bear Lake is totally worth the stop, especially because it's on the way. Through Idaho we drive to Montana, where we see the first snowy tops of the Rocky Mountains.
This is the good life, guys. We're in Jackson, Wyoming in a city park, making some dinner, having a beer. And this is the perfect place to go to national parks like Yellowstone and Grand Teton. So we're gonna do that the coming days. But for now, let's just relax in the sun, because at night it will be freezing again. Hey, what you cooking?
Pasta di Suzy.
With bananas? Gross. From Jackson we literally drive into the wild.
Oh guys, it's still so early, but we got into Grand Teton National Park to see the sunrise and to catch a clear glimpse on the mountains behind me, because this is Grand Teton. And on the parking lot we already see a lot of wild animals, like some geese, and I saw a ferret. And on the way over here we saw some reindeer or caribou and a moose. So yeah, this is a good beginning of my day. A little cold.
Spotting animals here is super easy. In the months April and May they're just out of hibernation, so they're looking for food. And also the pine forest itself is pretty amazing. OMG, do they have bears here?
We stopped at Lake Jenny for a nice walk, and just around the corner my dream came true, because on my bucket list was seeing bears in the wild. And we saw 3 of them, a mother with 2 cubs. So just around the corner here we saw some other animals, a frozen lake, and yeah, this is a nice walk, look.
How awesome is this? They seem to be doing the hiking trail. We follow their steps and continue our walk through Winter Wonderland. The northern pass between Grand Teton and Yellowstone only opens in the summer, so we drive back to Jackson Hole to warm up in the local pub. Oh, and we still had to do some laundry anyway. This time we spent the night in the village called West Yellowstone.
From Grand Teton we drive up north for about 2.5 hours to find ourselves in yet another wonder of nature. One of the biggest in America and maybe in the whole world, because this is Yellowstone. Check this out!
Through hundreds of bisons we hop along all the sites in Yellowstone to see boiling mud pools, geysers and colorful springs.
Our next stop is at the Grand Prismatic Spring, and this is one of the true highlights in Yellowstone. And earlier on we already saw some bisons crossing the parking lot, so they're going into the colored lakes, and this will give me some beautiful images. And so we're waiting for the main attraction, which is of course Old Faithful Geyser, which goes off every hour, and you can look up the times in the visitor center. But I think we'll have to wait for another half an hour here.
So you'll see at the visitor center that this geyser is running a tight schedule. Another wonder of Mother Nature. Drive on to the Black Sand and Biscuit Basin. The colorful artist paint pots are very interesting as well. see movement in the woods and hit the brakes. And we see a lonely male grizzly.
In 2016 we paid a visit to the Grand Canyon, one of the biggest landmarks in America. And this time we would also like to see a Grand Canyon. And we found one, the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. It's equally pretty, especially with the snow.
In this odd landscape we see yet another family of bears.
This morning we entered Yellowstone through the West Gate, and now we have our final stop way in the north, the Mammoth Springs. And on the way we saw the bisons, we saw some deer, and we saw a bear. We saw everything in Yellowstone and I really loved it. It was more than I could have expected in my dreams. Yellowstone, guys.
We were actually so intrigued by Yellowstone that we decided to spend another day here. And we see even more animals. And then again, the Mammoth Springs are too beautiful to skip anyway. And we also see these waterfalls and wolves.
We're heading up north through the United States in the state of Montana, and we're getting closer to Glacier National Park and the border with Canada. But first we stop in Great Falls, a little town at the Missouri River.
The big river that flows all the way from west to east.
And there are some other sights to see here.
As it turns out, the Roe River is the shortest in all of the US. After only about 200 feet, it flows right into the Missouri. We drive along the Missouri River for a while and find out why this place is called Great Falls.
We're almost there, guys. I can see the snowy mountaintops of Glacier National Park in front of me. Sunset's going on over there. I've got a pizza for on the way, and we're almost there. Oh, this is so awesome. It was like minus something degrees, freezing outside. We slept like a baby with the heater on, and it's snowing. Here in Glacier National Park, the coldest part of our journey, it's snowing.
Oh my God.
We drive into Glacier National Park, and all around us is the cold winter landscape of the majestic Rocky Mountains.
I've been here, but I have to stay afloat. It's not easy. Be a person you don't want. Can somebody?
I've put on a nice warm hat because it's freezing. We were driving over the going to the sun road, but it turned out to be the driving through the snow and fog road because it's cold, it's snowing, and there's a lot of fog. I'm standing here at St. Mary Lake, and it seems that this is as far as we can drive because they're closing the roads because of the snow. So we're gonna check out if the weather is gonna clear up a little bit. And otherwise, this is it, guys. Glacier.
Behind me, I don't wanna grow, just with myself. I don't wanna grow, the things I left, but behind me. Just with myself, but behind me. Just with myself.
We're already driving back to Salt Lake City, and on the way we make a couple of nice stops. With all this geothermal activity going on, we thought it would be nice to visit some hot springs. And where better to do this than in Yellowstone National Park? Today we're at Yellowstone Hot Springs.
A day of boiling in this sweet Yellowstone soup only cost us about $15 a person. And Jens is free, though he seems to be having the most fun. Oh, and what you really have to try is to go into the coldest bath and then quickly back to the hot one. It's supposed to be really good for your body and mind.
That's really something I could recommend here at Yellowstone, the hot springs. Sun is shining, I grabbed a beer, waiting for Susie and Jens to finish. Life is good here in Yellowstone.
On the way back, we pay a quick visit to the iconic town of Idaho Falls.
It's time to finish this road trip. We're in the final destination, Salt Lake City, the capital of Utah, a big city between the Rocky Mountains and a beautiful location. So let's see some sights, have a little stroll around, and it's almost summer here, about 30 degrees Celsius. In the center of Salt Lake City, you'll find Temple Square. It's the heart where all the beautiful buildings and the most famous landmarks are. It's also the busiest place in Utah because there's more people here every day than in all the national parks. Wow!
I can also recommend a walk up to Capitol Hill, and not just for the architecture, but for the view as well.
It's over, guys. We're in the park in Salt Lake City, the sun is shining. We're gonna drop off the camper van, have our last supper. We got some beers and a chicken from the Walmart. So I say cheers.
Cheers.
And we're going to
Australia.
That's right, starting next week we're on a new world trip. And first up is the north coast of Australia.